In 1998, a 27-year-old woman was driving around Florida in a beat-up car, selling fax machines door to door. Doors were literally slammed in her face, sometimes several times a day. She had exactly $5,000 to her name, a job she hated, and an idea that every single expert told her was stupid. 7 years later, she would become the youngest self-made female billionaire on the entire planet. This is exactly how she did it. And more importantly, this is the strange way she thought about money that almost nobody is ever taught in school. Her name is Sara Blakely. And here is the part that matters most. Her story is not about luck. It is not about being born into a rich family, or having a fancy business degree, or stumbling onto some genius high-tech invention. It is about one $5,000 bet, made out of pure frustration and a mindset about money that completely flips everything you think you know. So stick with me all the way to the end, because by the time we are done, you will look at money and at your own life in a completely different way. Now, before any of the success, Sara was basically a walking pile of rejection. She dreamed her whole life of becoming a lawyer, but she bombed the law school entrance exam. Not once, twice. Crushed, she went to Disney World and tried out to be a ride greeter, and they rejected her too, for being too short. So she ended up doing the only thing she could find, selling office equipment door to door, hating every single second of it. For 7 long years, she pushed fax machines on people who did not want them. She was so unhappy that she would sometimes cry in her car between sales calls. She felt completely stuck, like her real life was passing her by while she wasted away in a job with no future. If you have ever felt trapped like that, in a job that pays the bills but slowly kills your spirit, then you already understand exactly where Sara was standing. Then came the tiny, annoying problem that would change her life forever. Sara wore pantyhose under her clothes in the brutal Florida heat because she believed it made her look more professional. But she hated how the thick, seamed foot looked in her open-toed shoes. So one night, getting ready for a party, she grabbed a pair of scissors and simply cut the feet right off. And it worked. Her body looked smoother and slimmer instantly. There was just one issue. The cut-off hose kept rolling up her legs all night long. Annoying, right? Most people would have laughed it off and forgotten about it by morning. But Sara could not stop thinking about it. She kept asking herself one question that separates dreamers from doers. Why does this not already exist? Why has nobody made a comfortable version of this that actually stays in place? That annoying little problem was actually a billion-dollar idea hiding in plain sight. Footless, comfortable, body-shaping undergarments that actually worked and stayed put. Now remember, Sara had zero experience in fashion, zero experience in retail, zero connections in the entire industry, and no money to hire anyone who did. What she had was $5,000 in savings, scraped together over years, and one decision to make that would define the rest of her life. And here is the very first money lesson, the foundation that everything else is built on. Wealthy people do not sit around waiting for permission, and they do not wait until the moment feels perfectly safe, because that moment never actually comes. Instead, they bet on themselves. Sara took her entire life savings, all $5,000, every last cent she had in the world, and she bet it on her own idea. Not on a hot stock tip, not on a lottery ticket, on herself. But notice the exact question she asked herself, because this is everything. Most people, the moment they get a big idea, instantly ask, but what if this fails? What if I lose all my money and look like a fool? Sara flipped that question completely upside down. She asked herself the opposite. What if this actually works? That one reframe, from the fear of losing to the curiosity of winning, is the invisible line between the people who build wealth and the people who only ever daydream about it. So she got to work, and the world immediately said no. She spent a week of her vacation driving all over North Carolina to the big hosiery mills, and every single owner, every one of them a man, turned her away and laughed. They thought the idea was completely ridiculous and a total waste of their time. It was only when one of those mill owners went home and asked his own daughters what they thought of Sara's idea that he called her back and said, "All right, I will help you make it." Then came the patent and another wall. A lawyer wanted several $1,000s just to file it, money that Sara simply did not have. So she did something most people would never dare to do. She drove to a bookstore, bought a textbook on how to write a patent yourself, and she wrote the entire thing by hand at her kitchen table. She only paid a lawyer for the final legal signature. She refused to believe she needed permission from an expensive expert to chase her own dream. This brings us to the second lesson, and it might be the single most powerful idea in this entire video. Sara was not brave because she was born fearless. She was carefully trained to embrace failure by her own father when she was just a little girl. Every single night at the dinner table, her dad would turn to her and her brother and ask them the same strange question. What did you fail at this week? And here's the twist. If they had nothing to report, if they had not failed at anything that week, her father would actually be disappointed in them. Because to him, failure never meant that you were bad or not good enough. It meant that you were trying, you were stretching yourself, you were reaching for something genuinely hard. Sara grew up deeply believing that the only real failure in life is failing to try at all. And that single belief gave her the courage to knock on doors that terrified everyone else. Now, if you think Sara's obsession with pushing through failure sounds a little extreme, let me tell you about another person who thought exactly the same way and built one of the most famous companies on earth by doing it. Because this failure mindset is not some lucky accident. It is a repeatable pattern you see behind almost every great fortune ever built. His name is James Dyson. Back in the late 1970s, Dyson was using a vacuum cleaner in his own home and was furious that it kept losing suction and clogging up. Just like Sara and her pantyhose, he could not let it go. He became obsessed with building a vacuum that would never lose suction. But unlike Sara, his road would take not months, but years, and it would nearly destroy him financially. James Dyson built a prototype. It failed, so he built another one, slightly different. That one failed too, and he kept going. He built prototype after prototype after prototype for years on end. Now I want you to guess how many failed versions he made before he finally got it right. 10, 50, 100? The real answer is 5,126. 5,000 failed prototypes, over 15 long years. During those 15 years, Dyson went deep into debt. He was supporting a family and living on his wife's income while he burned through their savings on parts and materials. By the end, he owed a small fortune. But that 5,127th prototype, the one that finally worked, became the Dyson vacuum. And today the Dyson company is worth billions, and James Dyson is one of the richest people in Britain. 5,000 failures were simply the price of admission. So sit with that for a second. Sara Blakely, $5,000 and a pair of scissors. James Dyson, 5,000 failed prototypes. The specific numbers are almost poetic. Both of them understood the same secret. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the toll you pay on the road to it. The only people who never fail are the people who never try, and they are also the only people who are guaranteed to never win. Now let us get back to Sara, because she understood something else that most beginners completely miss. Perception is everything. She named her product Spanx. She had actually read that made-up words with a strong K sound in them, like Kodak and Coca-Cola, tend to stick in people's minds and sell noticeably better. She obsessed over the tiny details, the name, the bright, bold red packaging, because she knew her product had to punch through a boring sea of beige and grab attention instantly. But she still needed a real store to sell it. So Sara cold called the luxury retailer Neiman Marcus and somehow talked her way into a 10-minute meeting with a buyer. Halfway through her pitch, she could feel the buyer losing interest. So Sara did something incredibly bold. She stopped, looked the buyer in the eye, and asked her to please follow her to the bathroom. In that bathroom, Sara changed into a pair of white slacks, first without her product, then with it, and showed the buyer the difference in the mirror right then and there. The buyer was completely stunned. The transformation was obvious and undeniable. On the spot, Neiman Marcus agreed to carry Spanx in 7 of its stores. Sara had turned a dying pitch into a yes, using nothing but courage and a pair of white pants. But getting into the stores was only half the battle. She needed those products to actually sell fast, or the stores would pull them. So Sara got scrappy. She called up her friends and family, handed them cash, and sent them into those Neiman Marcus stores to buy Spanx themselves. So the early sales numbers looked incredible. The store saw a hot new product flying off the shelves and ordered even more. Relentless, clever, and completely fearless. And then, lightning struck. Sara sent a basket of Spanx to Oprah Winfrey's team, along with a heartfelt note. And Oprah loved it so much that she named Spanx one of her favorite things, live, on national television. Overnight, Sarah's tiny company that she was running out of her apartment absolutely exploded. The phones would not stop ringing for days. That is the raw power of building something genuinely great and then getting it in front of exactly the right person. Now here is a detail that should blow your mind. For roughly the first 20 years, Spanx spent almost nothing on traditional advertising. Basically zero. The product was so genuinely good and the word of mouth so powerful that thrilled customers did all the selling for her for free. Instead of burning money on ads, Sara poured every dollar back into the product and the business itself. And that decision points us straight to the third money lesson. Wealthy people do not see money as something to spend and show off to strangers. They see it as a tool to build with. Think of it this way. You can take a single dollar and burn it on something that disappears the instant you buy it. Or you can take that exact same dollar and use it as a brick to build something that grows and pays you back for years. Sara used every early dollar as a brick. She was not spending. She was building. That leads us straight into the fourth lesson. And this is one of the most important money ideas you will ever hear in your life. There is a giant difference between assets and things. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket or grows in value over time, like a business or investments in the stock market. A thing is something that just loses value the moment you own it, like a shiny new car or the latest phone. Most people spend their entire lives buying things, and then they quietly wonder why they never get ahead. The wealthy do the opposite. They buy assets first, and then they let those assets pay for the nice things later. Sara did not blow her first profits on a mansion and a sports car to look successful. She poured them right back into Spanx, an asset that multiplied her money again and again and again. The luxuries came much later, and the assets paid for all of them. The fifth lesson is a simple mental habit you can start using today for free. Before wealthy people buy something big, they do not just ask, how much does this cost? They ask a far smarter question. What is the potential return on this? Is this money going to come back to me and bring friends? Or is it just going to vanish forever? That one quiet question, asked before every major decision, slowly and invisibly separates the rich from everyone else. And now the sixth lesson, the one that Sara's entire life is built upon. The biggest risk of all is taking no risk at all, staying in the safe job that you secretly hate, sitting on the idea you are too scared to ever test, keeping all your money frozen in fear because you might lose a little. All of that feels safe, but it is quietly the most dangerous path there is, because it absolutely guarantees that nothing in your life will ever change. And here is the hard truth. Regret compounds, silently, just like money does. Sara leaped. She jumped off the cliff of the safe, boring, soul-crushing job, and she built her wings on the way down. And that single leap, backed by $5,000 and a stubborn refusal to quit, turned into a company worth well over $1 billion, with Sara owning almost every bit of it herself. No outside investors for years and years. Just one woman, and the bet she was brave enough to place on herself. In 2012, at just 41 years old, Sara Blakely officially became the youngest self-made female billionaire in the entire world. She had no co-founder. She took no venture capital money for the longest time. And she never spent that fortune just to look rich for other people. She built real, lasting wealth, quietly and patiently, one smart decision at a time. Exactly the way the truly money-wise always do it. And here is the detail that reveals her true mindset more than anything else. Years later, when she sold a majority stake of her company, she gave every single one of her employees 2 first-class plane tickets to anywhere in the world and $10,000 in cash. To Sara, money was never, ever the trophy. It was always just a tool. And one of the very best things a powerful tool can do is lift other people up along with you. So let us bring this all the way home. Because Sara's story is not really about pantyhose, and it is not really about becoming a billionaire. It is a blueprint. And you can start using this exact blueprint today, tonight, no matter how much or how little money you have in your account right now. So let me hand you the precise mindset shifts, one by one, so you can start rewiring your own brain for wealth, starting the moment this video ends. Shift number 1. Bet on yourself before you bet on anything else in this world. The single safest investment you will ever make in your entire life is the one you make in your own skills, your own ideas, and your own relentless effort. No stock, no scheme, and no shortcut will ever pay you back the way that a serious bet on yourself will. Shift number 2. Treat every failure as tuition, not as defeat. Each failure is simply you paying for a lesson that you could never have learned any other way. Remember James Dyson and his 5,000 failures. The people who win big are almost always just the people who were willing to fail more times than everybody else and still refuse to stop. Shift number 3. Use your money as a tool to build with, not as fuel to burn for show. Before you spend on something, pause and ask yourself, can this dollar become a brick instead of ash? It is a tiny habit, but repeated over years, it is completely life-changing. Shift number 4. Buy assets before you buy things. Let money-making assets quietly pay for your lifestyle, instead of letting your lifestyle slowly eat all of your money alive. The wealthy always buy the tree first, and then they enjoy the fruit from that tree for the rest of their lives. And shift number 5. Always remember that the biggest risk in life is standing perfectly still. The comfortable path is the truly dangerous one, because it quietly steals the incredible life that you could have had. And here's the good news. You do not need $5,000 and a pair of scissors to begin. You just need one small, brave decision made today. Because here is the real truth. Sara Blakely was not special when she started out. She was broke, she was rejected over and over, and she was absolutely terrified, exactly like most of us are. The one and only difference is what she chose to do with that fear. She placed her bet anyway. So I have a question for you, and I genuinely want you to drop your answer in the comments below. What is the one bet on yourself that you have been too scared to make? If Sara's story lit even a small fire inside you, then do 2 quick things for me right now. First, hit that subscribe button for Money USA, because this is exactly what we do here. We take the real stories and the real money lessons hiding inside them, and we make them actually make sense. No hype, no nonsense, just real money help. And second, go watch the video popping up on your screen right now, because it takes these exact mindset shifts and shows you the very first practical move to make with your own money. I will see you